I'm Cheryl Grace, corporate executive and founder of the lifestyle brand Powerful Penny. When I started my career, no one would help me. And I vowed that if I ever became successful, I would make it my business to mentor others. I've done just that for 20 plus years. And what I know for sure is that names change, but the challenges rarely do. So join me as I mentor 5 professionals in real time on Live from the Pink Couch. Who knows? You might just discover a solution to your career dilemma.
Welcome to Live from the Pink Couch, episode 8. I'm Cheryl Grace, and I am here with my 4 remaining mentees who have agreed to be coached live in front of you on Facebook as part of a webisode series, or I should say a web series, that helps them get to their next level of best in their career. And so our 4 mentees who are remaining are here to help with a variety of career opportunities and challenges that they each want to accomplish. We are not live from the Pink Couch because I'm still sequestering. So the couch, as you can see, is not sequestered with me. It is still safe back in Illinois. I'm in Michigan. But our 4 remaining mentees are here. I do want to remind you that we started with 5 mentees, and the newbie, who was Maya, she got her $50,000 a year job, woo, and is officially in the workforce. And I talked to her a couple of days ago, and she is enjoying the job. She's enjoying the responsibility, and they are working her hard. So that's a good thing. So we're 1 down, 4 to go. It is a good thing if you get booted out of this tribe, because it means you have accomplished your career objective. And so today we have with us Darsh, who is our Lone Star mentee, Jacqueline, who is our Career 2.0 mentee, and we have Miley, who is our Rising Star mentee. And last but not least, we have Rebecca, who is our Hopeful mentee. So each of them have identified their goals and their challenges, and they will share that with you as they introduce themselves. What we have done last week and what we're also doing this week is making sure our mentees are prepared. And that means they have to be able to sell themselves right away with a given audience. They have to be able to talk about themselves, and they have to be able to do it succinctly. 3 minutes. They get 3 minutes as part of their assignment to give an elevator pitch. Now, for those of you who joined us last week, we each did an exercise that I found for them on LinkedIn. If you are on LinkedIn, I really strongly encourage you to take advantage of all of the learning tools that they have, particularly now while we are still quarantining from home and working remotely and looking for something to do in the evening that doesn't involve social distancing. Now is a great time to go to LinkedIn and choose any of the myriad of learning tools that they have there. So I think I said we were going to start with Rebecca because she is in New Orleans, and they're expecting perhaps a tropical storm, and so we don't want her to get lost. And so Rebecca, your assignment last week was to come back with a refreshed elevator pitch based on the feedback that you got from the mentees last week. The feedback that you got was pretty great, right? Because you've been working on this for a while. We only ask that you be just a little teeny weeny bit more succinct. Mm-hmm. And you are talking to the CEO of an advertising agency. Yeah, the CEO of an advertising agency when you run into him or her on the elevator on the 30th floor. So talk to me just like you would if you ran into him or her. Like, I need it to be an authentic conversation, and I'm going to time you, and 3 minutes, and go.
Hi, Jim. It's so good to run into you today. And this is a great opportunity for me to tell you a little bit about myself because I've been looking at your company and I'm really interested in joining and seeing how I can bring my expertise to what you guys are currently doing. So my name is Rebecca Roussel. I'm originally from New Orleans, and we have this saying where it is laissez le bon temps rouler, which means let the good times roll. So I love to live by that mantra. And my story really starts as a talkative high school kid. I initially wanted to be a pediatrician, but math got the best of me, and I was interested more in creative writing and telling stories. So in high school, I was on the newspaper staff, yearbook editor, as well as I had my own television show. So fast forward, I have been in the marketing communications realm for about 10 years or more. And the top three areas that I really have a passion for are multicultural marketing, social media and digital content creation, as well as experiential activations. I have had multiple experiences in these three different areas, but what really interests me in your company was your multicultural marketing and what you've done. I think so much that it is really important to have a multicultural marketer on your team, especially during this climate that we're in with racial tension. And I think it's great that we have an opportunity now to right some wrongs and that brands and companies take a stand. So this is my floor, but I will definitely connect with your assistant to get some more time on your calendar so that we can speak more. Have a great day.
Yay! All righty, this is great. And it was at about 2 minutes. So
I was like, did I clock it?
Rebecca, like, that's really good. Because for those of you who are joining us for the first time, one of the things that we've been working on with Rebecca as part of her background, Rebecca joined, she joined us at the beginning of this session, of course, but she came on board looking for a new role to replace the role that she had when she was laid off almost 2 years ago as of September. And so she'd been on more than 40 interviews, 20 to 40 interviews, and hadn't gotten a job. And so what we thought, she was getting her foot in the door. Her resume was clearly doing that, but we wanted to make sure that she was winning the interviewers over once she was in the door. And so some of the things that we focused on is that she needed to be a little bit more brief in her answers. And Rebecca, you just nailed it. You totally nailed it. How do you all feel about it? So I'm going to ask each of the mentees to give their assessment of the elevator pitch, what they retained the most, and they need to do it from the perspective of the CEO in the elevator with Rebecca. So who'd like to go first?
I'll go.
I was gonna say, okay, Jacqueline, you go.
First off, I really enjoyed hearing your background to find out who you were to get you to where you are now. And everything that you surmise have definitely impressed me. And I would be willing to offer you a position. I mean, I'm blown away by what you said. You know, you were to the point, you were direct. I felt your passion, and I definitely felt your expertise. And that's important. So hands down, I'm impressed.
Thank you, Jacqueline.
All right, CEO Jacqueline.
Thank you. When can I
start? Today.
Wait, because we still are going to have to learn how to negotiate your offer package.
Right, so. That's true. That's true.
Okay.
We'll get back with you, CEO.
Right.
Let's go next.
I'll go.
Yeah. Oh, go ahead, Miley.
I thought it was awesome. I mean, Rebecca, last week's I thought was really good too, or the last time we spoke, but something about the way you delivered this, it was punchier, and it was more succinct, but like the energy really behind your voice and the way you spoke about the work, it was really engaging, and like you had me full on. So I think it was excellent.
Thank you. Thank you so much, Miley.
Very good, CEO Miley. Darsh?
And to that point too, I feel like she was extremely confident too, right? She's like, I'm Rebecca, hear me roar, for lack of better words. So I think it's really important, right? Especially with the people that you're meeting, it's most likely not a woman who's in the C-suite. So not only are you having to explain yourself, but you're also having to work twice as hard to get the buy-in. So that was awesome.
Yeah, that's a great point, Darsh. Really, it is.
I agreed with all three of the other CEOs. I thought it was filled with confidence. I thought you were succinct. I thought you were personable. I heard your story. So on the scale of the two areas that we were supposed to communicate through our elevator pitch, which was warmth and comfort, you exuded both. Right? So warmth, again, we got a sense of your personality. Comfort, I feel like I could rely on you to do the job, especially as it relates to multicultural, anything dealing with multicultural communications, because you made that very clear that that's an area of expertise for you. So that was an excellent point as well. Tell us what you thought about how you performed.
I thought I did well. I'm definitely seeing the movement and the improvement because I think I really was stuck on the storytelling and really stuck on really telling all of my story in just this little kind of band here. But I thought it was great. And I made it a point to say a man because unfortunately, like Darsh said, there aren't that many CEOs, especially in an ad agency. And in my mind, I'm thinking, okay, Rebecca, connected to the climate of what's going on. There's an ad agency that's currently doing multicultural, but here's an opportunity for them to do more. And I really thought that this was a general market ad agency that just, I guess, would kind of be tipping their toe into multicultural, but now sort of making the CEO understand and know that, you know what, maybe we're not doing enough. Maybe I need to have at least have a conversation with this young woman who seems to be passionate. And also the confidence, I think the confidence just really builds. I personally think I've always been a confident person. And I just really understand how much that is such an important thing, especially in corporate America and in these areas, because it's easy to get, intimidated. It really is. And now I think, whereas 10 plus years ago, when I was really stepping into multicultural, now I'm even more bold about it now because I'm not even like ashamed. And it's like, you need to have a conversation about it because clearly, it's definitely a needed conversation. So that is also something that's good to have to back you up as well, to back me up.
Yeah, no, I would agree with you that now is the time to be bold about the whole multicultural perspective and how you can add value to any company who is looking to expand their work in that particular arena. The last time we met was May 22nd. So it was right before the country literally got uprooted and turned on its respective ear. And so we are seeing now, and before we started the live broadcast, many of you shared that you'd been out protesting. So protesting while social distancing and ensuring that you're staying safe. But the point is that you have to be totally mindful of the current environment whenever you're out there looking for a job. You can't go into it blindly. And so I love that you shaped that and worked it in. The other thing to keep in mind as well is that given the quarantine, what we are finding with, I think the number is rising, 33 to 35 million people out of work right now. The assumption is that no one is hiring. And so, on this show, I'd like to provide Cheryl's Pink Couch tips. And the one that I want to provide for you, Rebecca, is when the going gets tough, the tough get going. So there are 4 ways that you can continue your job search in spite of COVID-19. And those 4 ways are, number 1, to network online using social media. And I have been noticing you doing that a lot more. And so kudos to you. But for everyone who thinks that there's nothing that they can do, right now is absolutely the time that you should be reaching out to your network, whether they're within your company or whether they're external, but you should be reaching out to individuals using your social media, particularly LinkedIn, and letting them know that you'd like just to spend a few minutes with them and talk about, the future. Number 2 is reach out to interviewers that you didn't hear back from and check to be sure they're okay. Just check to be sure they're okay. It doesn't necessarily need to be, hey, are you okay? And how come I never heard back from you? But just check back with them to see, as human beings, if they're okay. I remember people who are reaching out to me now to see if I'm okay. And I'm making it a consistent effort to go out and check on people that I may not normally interact with on a day-to-day basis. So that's a tool that I think that you may also want to tap into. Number 3, there are still companies that are hiring. So research those companies that are still hiring. There are certain industries that aren't doing poorly right now. They're doing incredibly well. So the CPG industry, retailers like any of the grocery stores that, have seen a boom, Amazon, pick those companies that are still doing really well. See if you can network with any of those individuals on their social media platforms. And you never know what they're looking for right now, but they may be in need of somebody who can handle some diversity work. And then 4, we talked about this a little bit earlier, but expand your skill set with online courses. So now is the time to take those courses. They're free. They can help you. A lot of the courses on LinkedIn, you guys, you can get certified, and that can go as part of your overall profile. So please take advantage of that. But those are the 4 tips. When the going gets tough, the tough get going. My 4 tips on how to continue your job search in spite of COVID-19. Network online using social media. Reach out to interviewers you didn't hear back from and check to be sure they're okay. Research which companies are still hiring and expand your skill set with online courses. Does that sound good, Rebecca?
Yes, it does.
Okay. Anything else we need to talk about for this particular elevator pitch? Are you comfortable? Are you comfortable with answering questions when they're asked of you in a similar storytelling, metric-oriented style?
Yes, I am. I'm very comfortable with that. So what I've been doing is just going back and kind of getting 3 points of all of the questions that I can kind of, use for multiple questions, and really highlighting 3 of my most impressive work, or things that I've done that has really yielded some great results, and getting those down pat so that I'm not also just kind of thinking well, let me think back, that type of thing in an interview. So those are the things that I've been doing as well.
Great. Okay. So your homework assignment, because we always give homework assignments every single time we're here together. So your homework assignment, should you decide to choose it, and I know that you will, your mission is to reach out to at least 10 individuals you have not yet reached out to via a social media platform, and to just reiterate, either how they're doing, what if there's a way that you can talk with them during this time. Reach out to at least 10. And the other one is to take at least 3 online courses that may help you expand your skill set, that makes you a little bit more marketable in areas that you may not have any experience. Okay?
Got it.
All right, cool. Thank you. Good job. All right.
Thank you.
You're welcome. Okay, who wants to go next? Oh, Miley, I'm gonna choose you because you got that look. Please don't look at me. Please don't look at me. I'm choosing Miley. Okay, so Miley has been working with a nonprofit organization for over 3 years at this point. She has 16 years of experience, 16, and she's worked with some major branded companies, brands that are like household names. And she's got wonderful experience, but she can't seem to get beyond being a senior manager, senior director. What's your title?
Senior director.
Senior director. And she's going for the gold. She wants to be a vice president, and we absolutely think that she can be. So Miley is going to have her elevator pitch moment with her manager, and she's going to be explaining why she's ready for this big promotion to VP. So I'm turning it over to you, Miley.
Okay. Hi, my name is Miley Garcia, and as you know, I'm a marketing communications professional here at Heartland Alliance and in a senior director role. And I have decades of corporate and nonprofit communications experience, and I really find communications quite fascinating because when you use it strategically, it can help solve organizational issues and bring people together. It's fundamental to all we do, and I really like to be able to employ critical thinking and use communications to help persuade or support an outcome for our organization. I like being able to problem solve, and I'm energized by being able to build teams and processes and connect people. Some examples of my recent impact include building an internal communications function. I consistently advocated for an internal comms role, which has enabled us to effectively navigate the pandemic by allowing us to deploy internal communications to help keep our 800 domestic and global staff informed of critical information as we figured out what we were going to do during this time with our policies and procedures. These communications included weekly COVID-related email updates to all staff. We also created digital convenings for all staff to come together and to hear from leadership, and created an intranet, so our internal internet for housing of dozens of videos and resource guides for staffs about our policies. I also developed various crisis communications for staff, board members, and media. And recently I led our efforts to respond to the protests and issues related to racial injustice. I also have managed very high-profile issue communications that reflect our work to support immigrants. That includes managing various board and media crisis relations for one of our particularly controversial programs around immigrant children. I've created more than 24 pieces of content to help inform our stakeholders about our important work, as well as to help negate false claims that are being spread about our programming. I developed many informational videos, fact sheets, media interviews, and gathered press conference and multiple statements and for putting on the website and for education purposes. I also created an immigration hub on the website that provides visitors with a look at all of our programs that we offer for immigrants and refugees. Lastly, I completely upgraded the organization's approach to storytelling and creating dynamic and engaging content for our audiences. There was not a current strategy developed before I joined, and now we produce monthly external e-news editions full of feature stories of our participants and staff profiles, which is also included in our quarterly internal staff-facing e-news. Through this approach, Heartland Alliance does share dozens of multimedia content stories through videos, designed assets for social, and consistent photography. You may not know that I grew up in a single-family home in a rural town where resources were limited, but my own personal experiences have shaped my desire to help others, which brought me to the organization in the first place. Through my life experiences, I've been able to uncover my passion and interest, which builds on my foundation and allows me to transition into a community affairs role. I want to support communities and its members by connecting them to helpful resources that enrich their lives. Given my strong contributions to Heartland, I'd like you to consider me for VP of Community Affairs. Thank you.
All right. Okay.
Wow.
So
that was a lot. I know. And I'm a little bit.
My God.
My brain.
Okay, so this week you get our MVP, most, valuable. No, what is it when you improve? Most improved mentee. MIM. Is that most improved mentee?
Most improved
MIM.
player.
MIM.
MIM. That was great. That was great. You're right. You threw a lot at us, but I'll let the others go. But compared to where we were last week, we were dragging information. And this week, it was like this spout opened up and you were just pouring it out. And like, oh my God, you've done so much. That's what I would say if I was sitting in the seat. But I'm going to let our other three mentees, who are your manager, keep in mind who you are as you review Miley. So who wants to go first?
I can go. I feel like this is awesome, and it was such a great example of you mastering the humble brag, which I think is super needed, even though the promotion is well due and well deserved. I think highlighting how you grew the organization from not really having anything in play for, communications, whether it be global or even domestic, which you highlighted by the new people that you employed. It really turned the org for better, especially given everything that's been happening. And I think that's really incredible to highlight. And it wasn't like, this is why I deserve it. This is why I'm here, and this is my job, and this is what I'm doing above it. And it was awesome.
Thanks,
Great
guys.
feedback, Darsh, Miss Manager. Who's next?
I'll go.
Okay.
As I'm going to say this from a perspective of someone who has sat on many different nonprofit boards of directors and is currently on one now, and oversees the care of.
You're going to say it from her manager's perspective, though, right?
Okay, from dealing with a nonprofit that oversees care of 46,000 people, that type of component is critical. It is critical to the organization. It is critical for cohesiveness, in order to keep things running as a well-oiled machine, especially in COVID-19, where things are constantly changing from hour to hour today. What you have to offer and what you have done is absolutely outstanding. And you have a skill set that I'm just blown away. Your skill set and what you have accomplished is amazing. So I'm willing to offer you a package.
Thank you. I'm tearing up. I guess I do. Like, it's really hard for me, I think, to excuse me, to like hear it. I just kind of do it, and I think that's part of like this journey of helping me see the impact, and it's kind of makes me a little bit teary-eyed.
Because your passion is there.
Writing it, I'm sorry. Yeah, go on.
Yeah, your passion is there. That's what makes the difference. That's what makes people notice you. Is this? You can feel it. This is definitely something that you love to do, and it means a lot to you. And this is not about a paycheck. This is about what you do. This is your life. This is a calling. I'm impressed.
It's a calling. It's a passion. It's a calling. I agree. Who didn't go yet?
I didn't go. But I was very impressed. Here, we definitely love people who have the passion. But as a CEO or as your manager, I am just most impressed that you saw an opportunity and you didn't sit and let me or someone else higher than me say, why don't we have this? You saw an opportunity and you went for it. And I think that those are definitely the characteristics of a leader. And all of the other things that you talked about in your personal history, which I didn't know about, so thanks so much for sharing that, really just amplified what I would like to hear and what I needed to hear as it relates to talking further about what your next step is and what that next position is. So I am more than happy to have another full conversation about looking at what the duties would be to elevate you to a vice president level.
Miley, your response to your manager Rebecca's comments?
Yes, thank you. Thank you, Rebecca. And I'm eager to think about what next steps would be to expand my role in this way.
And I like that too. So some of the feedback that you're getting online was, if I was the CEO, I like that Becky told me that she was going to follow up with my assistant to get on my calendar. And then we're getting hellos from everyone else. So
good.
Yeah. So, wow, Miley. I'm so impressed because I think it was Darsh who framed it as the humble brag or the humble boast. And I know that does not come natural for you. So for those of you who are just watching this for the first time, and for those of you who this doesn't come naturally too, because I've gotten direct messages into my inbox on LinkedIn where people would tell me, I'm Miley. I don't know how to toot my own horn and without feeling as if I'm bragging. And so the humble boast, the humble brag, you did a great job with, Miley. And so kudos to you for stretching out of your comfort zone. How did it feel? Because when you were sharing it, you had to have written it down, because you were reading. So we're going to work on that a little bit so you're not reading it. So, but how did it feel when you were writing down all that you've done for Heartland to get them to the level where they are? How did that make you feel reading it and seeing it and then repeating it back out?
I think reading it was okay. Reading it, putting it in my thoughts together and then trying to think about in the 3 years, sort of where we were, and then how did the team, where we were, and what opportunity existed, and then how I took that opportunity and started to put the pieces in place to get us sort of as in a place where we're better oiled and we're better able to prepare and react to things. I mean, there's still opportunity ahead, but it was really good to say, it's pretty cut and dry. It feels good to say that we're not reinventing the wheel every time. So because of my strategy and process implementation, the team is able to execute on the day-to-days.
So just hearing you say, because this is I don't know, it's 180-degree turn, right? Because just hearing you say, me, because of my strategic this and because of what I did, that's huge for you. And so, I feel like we had a breakthrough today. I feel like we had a breakthrough because last session, it was good. Don't get me wrong, but you didn't have as many of the metrics. And again, you didn't separate yourself from the pack. This time I felt that you separated yourself from your team as their leader. And that's the confidence that any CEO is looking for, is on how you're actually going to be able to lead as a VP. So that was great. So I know that we've talked in the past about delegating. I know that we've talked about managing your time so that you have time to think more big picture for the organization. And so I have a pink couch tip for you, Miley. Master the art of delegating. And these are some of the pieces of advice I've just kind of picked up from here and there. But number one is think of how the added assignments that you're going to be sharing with your staff, think of it how it can advance their careers. Because I think a little bit of your hesitation to delegate is because you don't want to feel as if you're dumping on someone. And if that is the case, then I want you to think about how what you're assigning them to do can help, those assignments can help add and advance to their career, their skill sets to help build that up. So that's the first thing. And then I also think using your time up front to train someone else to do what you need them to help you do is going to pay off in the long run. So a lot of people are like, oh my gosh, it's just going to be faster if I do it myself. Or nobody else can do it as well as I can. Or I don't have the time to teach someone to do it. I think what you have to focus on is that if you spend that time up front training someone else, and they're going to be excited about it, it's going to pay off for you in the long run. So that's number 2. Number 3 is being clear and communicating what your expectations are when you make these assignments. So be clear and communicate clearly what it is you're expecting them to do, when you're expecting them to have it done by, so that there's no miscommunication and the product that you get back is the product that you were expecting, not hoping that they kind of get it right. So you have to be clear on that. And then 4, because I think this is also a part of the problem that you had before on why you weren't necessarily giving other people an opportunity, is think of their success as your success as the leader. So when you're talking about all of the myriad of things that you just did, you did it as part of a team. So that becomes your success. It's their success, but it's also your success. And if you think of it that way, I think it will whittle away a little bit of the hesitancy that you have to delegate. So those 4, again, is to think of how the added assignments are benefiting and advancing the careers of the person you're assigning it to. Use the time up front to train someone else because it's going to pay off in the long run. Be clear in communicating your expectations and think of their success as your success as a leader. And I'll send these to you as well. I also sent you some links to some sites that I think might be helpful for you, just in terms of like, really, now that we've got you to the mindset. And mindset is everything, people. Everything has to start with mindset. But now that we've got you there, we want you to like grow with this momentum. There's a quote from Harvard Business School that one of the most difficult transitions for leaders to make is the shift from doing to leading. And one of the mentees said that to you, right? But there's a psychological shift to focus your attention on areas that are vital to the company and become less involved in the daily task. Because we were talking about how you get rooted down in the weeds, and we want to pull up the weeds and get you out of there, because that can shift, that transition from doing to leading can bring about fear, right? So what will happen if I let go and delegate that responsibility? Will I be able to make the transition to my new role and focus? And will I be seen as less vital if I delegate certain tasks? No one can do as good as me. So those are some of the fears that you may find yourself facing. You're not alone. And we're going to help you work through those fears too. But your mindset, like, wow, your global mindset just blew us all away, Miley. Way to go, way to go, way to go. Woohoo! Anything you want to add?
No, I just appreciate all of your feedback and your support as I've worked to sort of pull this out of myself. And I feel better, and it makes me feel like I'm on the right path when I hear back from this group and you guys are able to, give me some fine-tuning points or tell me where I can grow. But it felt good. They felt like solid examples I was able to share today. And I think now it's just maybe getting a little more tighter with some of the language. But
yeah, overall, a little bit tighter. Yeah, a little bit tighter with the language. But if you keep repeating it, because again, one of the tips that we learned from, I think, episode 4 or 5, when we had Jeff Altman join us, was that you shouldn't ever, you guys, be in a situation where you're saying something for the first time that you haven't said in practice. Or, so you shouldn't be getting in front of your manager trying to spit this out. Because imagine if you had spit out last session versus if you had spit out this session for your manager, right? Practice makes perfect. So aren't you glad we made you do it again?
Yes.
That's a good answer. So what we're going to work on now for you, your homework assignment is going to be, let's look at what this package may look like and how you're going to actually ask. We're going to ask for a promotion, but what is it that you're hoping? Like, how much money are you hoping to make? Are you asking for additional compensation? What are some of the asks that we're going to? So we're going to move into negotiating so that you're ready for all aspects of that conversation. Okay?
Yep.
Great. All right, great job. All right, who wants to go next? We're gonna do my little entrepreneur. There we go, Darsh. So Darsh is our lone star, and she has about 3 years of work experience. She came out of school about 3 years ago, and she actually has decided that, you know, working in the real life work world of corporate America is not where she wants to be for her entire life. And she's starting a food truck. So her pink elephant goal is to start a food truck by January 2023, featuring Indian, fast casual Indian food. And she's going to take out a $100,000 small business loan. So Darsh is going to be acting as if we are her, the loan manager at the small bank or credit union where she's going after this loan. And so she's going to pitch us that opportunity. And I'm going to start the time clock because I forgot it on Miley's. I'm sorry. Yeah, I forgot it on Miley's. So let me go back, Darsh, before you start and do my little stopwatch. And yeah, so we're the loan officers, you guys. So make sure and make eye contact with her, even if it's virtually. And when you give her your feedback, you're giving it as part of the loan officer. So keep in mind what we talked about last time, Darsh, was we needed to hear more of the financials in your pitch. So, hi, Miss, how do you pronounce your last name?
Sakamar.
Sakamar. Hi, Miss Sakamar. How can I help you today?
Hi, team, and hi, Cheryl. Thank you for taking the time to chat with me today. I know I've emailed you a copy of my business plan, but brought one with me just in case you wanted to look at the financials. But thank you for giving me this outlet to tell you my story. So, you know, growing up in a vegetarian household, my passion for cooking really honestly began when I turned vegan the summer of my freshman year in high school. But to date, I now have over 10 years of cooking knowledge and have hosted pop-ups and kind of built a brand in the city of Chicago, especially within the community that I'm in River North. But most importantly, the reason why we're here today is I have a story to tell, and I have a story that's different, right? Not every 24-year-old wants to open up a food truck. So Chat is actually a fast casual Indian food truck. Because, you know, foodies are looking for more than just the generic Americanized tikka masalas and saag paneer. And honestly, what Chat is looking to do is break those stereotypes with fresh, local, and vegetable-forward bites. We help consumers get affordable Indian food in downtown Chicago while still helping diversify the city's palate one bite at a time. Our primary competitive advantage is our unique take on Indian street food, but also our commitment to tradition. So with a low barrier of entry, you know, for the ethnic food truck market, we expect to target the middle to high income working professionals, but also looking to attack the 1 billion US market for food trucks. We make money by keeping our cost of production low, utilizing local produce and selling for a profit, obviously. We acquire customers using online marketing campaigns and referral programs. Word of mouth, honestly, with food is everything. Our first year gross profit is actually set at $167,816 with 35 cents to add, might I add. And we expect to see that increase at a steady 10% year over year. The truck is set to be bought at $50K. And is with a depreciation rate for a little over 4%, there obviously is a need to purchase a new truck, as you can see highlighted on pages 5 and 10 of the cost per over profit plan. So I'm here today seeking $100,000 in funding, which I'm using to fund the next 2 years of my business plan and achieve profitability. So obviously, you're interested in when are you getting your money back? So break even happens in year 2 with the gross amount being $150,000 in revenue. So do we have a deal?
Wow. I love you guys. Because when I ask you to bring it, you really do bring it. That was so good, Darsh. Oh my God. I feel like, again, it's night and day. Like when I ask you to bring numbers, this time you bring numbers and you talk about profitability margins and break-even points. And, so I will be quiet and I will listen to the other bank loan officers give you their feedback.
I'm waiting.
I'll go. Darsh, that was excellent. I think you're very confident in your business plan, hearing the numbers, hearing all the different ways that you've accounted for, how much the revenue is going to be, how much the food truck costs, every single element. And I really think it was a special high note when you referred back to the particular pages in your business plan that really spoke to me and said, wow, she knows. She's done the math over and over and over again. It's here. She even knows what page it's on. And yeah, I mean, you are super confident. And I think, the only one question I have as a prospective loan officer is what is the average spend for your customers? I don't think I heard you mention that. That would be helpful as I think about maybe how much foot traffic you're expecting in the first month of business.
Cool.
If
that's a Q. Yeah, I'm sorry. If this is a Q&A, with considering it's the cost of, it's a food truck, right? With products being, $5 to $8, average spend is anywhere between $10 to $12 if they decide to get a drink or 2, or maybe they want an extra samosa. So average 10 or average check spend is $10 per person. So family for 4, we're looking at 40.
So how many customers do you have to get to the truck? So what's that look like from a monthly perspective? And then how many customers do you have to target and reach on a weekly and then a monthly basis to get the $150,000 number that you're stretching to get to?
Yeah, that's a great point. So that is actually on page 3 of the market analysis. So on a month-to-month basis, we're looking to target 150 unique subscribers, for lack of better words, because obviously repeat customers are great, but as we're growing the truck and ideally looking to move into a brick and mortar store, that unique number is really, really important to not only grow the brand, but also the register. So on a month-to-month, we're looking at 150 unique customers, but on a week-to-week basis, if we're breaking it down with the 5 days that the truck is open, and the inclement weather in January to February, and now with Chicago, you never know, we're looking at 50 new people each day, which should honestly be very easy to do with the truck being positioned in high foot traffic locations and with summer festivals in Chicago as well.
Good answer. Good
Employees.
answer.
How many employees are you looking to hire?
Yeah, as of now, it's me. So hello, you're looking at her. But as obviously the truck grows and I want to start managing, obviously more of how we're growing the brand, the smart idea is to hire 1 to 2 people. Outlined on page 15, you get to see the breakdown of, what it really takes for the employee to be added on. Obviously, they're starting part-time at minimum wage. And as the responsibilities grow and as the truck grows, and while we're trajecting towards that brick and mortar store, they're moving more into the part-time role as well.
Okay.
At
Great.
a salary rate.
Great. And Rebecca?
Yeah, so great, Darsh. Loved your story and really loved looking through the plan. Thank you for sending that ahead of time. That was awesome. I did have a couple of questions. Well, one question really. You mentioned the idea of going into the brick and mortar store. Is this, and I wanted to get your perspective on that. Are you talking a standalone restaurant or perhaps a food hall? Because I'm wondering, what's the notion for that? Is that going to be something specifically for when the weather is bad and you think people may not want to come out, or is that a long-term goal outside of what you're doing for 2023?
Yeah, no, that's a great point. And I mean, if I could be quite honest, everybody wants something that's their own, right? And honestly, that's why I'm here in the first place. So in terms of, the experience that I'd stated that I had, obviously many of those, the 2 years that I had before I started the truck was spent staging at restaurants. And if you're not familiar with what staging is working at an unpaid internship, learning the trade. So with food halls, obviously there's a high cost incurrence with low profit if you're going into that food market or food hall, concept. So with brick and mortar, obviously you're foregoing the commission that you'd be paying for the food hall,
Gotcha.
While still being able to charge what you would normally charge on the truck. So I think for me, what I'm looking to do is get that truck rolled out within, initially, and obviously as the truck grows and as the profit grows, I think for me, the end result is always, the first and end result has always been a brick and mortar store. I think it makes the most financial sense, and honestly, you can speak to that as well, to open up a food truck first because it's low cost entry. Because I mean, you're going to want people to come check you out before you open up a standalone restaurant that seats 50 instead of a truck that you can drive. So that's always been the end goal. But to start off, humbly opening up a food truck.
Great. The next question. So hypothetically, what if you blow it out of the water and you meet all of your expectations in either the allotted time or even a shorter amount of time?
Yeah, no, that's a great point. And honestly, I consider that as well. Wouldn't that be nice to allot to do that within year one, which is fantastic because now you have that money. You now have that money to go towards that down payment for that location. I'm not saying that I'm going to open up that restaurant because what if I screw up the year two, right? So I think for me, and I outlined in the plan as well, I think customer loyalty is really, really important. As I said, even though it's important to get repeat customers and have customer loyalty, it's even more important to secure new clients, or new people who are, willing to try samosas or dahi vadas or pani puris and like mango lassis. It's exotic, right? And even though the market is growing at a steady rate of 5%, we don't really know what that looks like year over year. Hence why the projections are the way they are. But if I am to blow it out, I will use that extra money not only to pay off the small business loan, but also to put towards a down payment for that brick and mortar location, because obviously inflation. And it's better to secure that earlier than later. And it gives me the time to work on that decor that the marketing plan outlines in terms of, being able to actually get unique goods from India if I want to decorate that restaurant. So when it does open, it opens the way I want it to, and we're not rushing into it.
So Darsh, can I just say that you are, I'm sorry, Rebecca, like your confidence is literally oozing through my screen. I mean, it is like, this is a businesswoman that we're listening to today.
Yeah, I brought the scarf. No, I'm kidding.
It is the scarf. It's the scarf.
I love it. The scarf, and it's such a marked difference. And so congratulations to you on getting your head into the game and understanding what businesses want to hear from you. Not, the cutesy stuff, but what they really want to hear from you. And so, and I know we're running out of time, but I think that there are 5 things that small business loan officers look for in an applicant. Number one is they're going to want to see your credit history. So make sure you're ready for that and make sure that you're using this time now to get it as high as it possibly can go.
Yeah.
Number two, they're going to want to know your cash flow history and your business projections. And I'm sure you can point them to the exact page of the plan where that is. Number three, what collateral available do you have to secure the loan? Because they may make a request for collateral. Number four, they're going to want to know a little bit more about your character, because that just character actually does weigh in, you guys, when you're trying to start your own company, your own businesses, because again, it goes back to that elevator pitch that we did where warmth and comfort need to come through. And that has to do also with character, because people give money to people that they trust are going to give it back.
Right.
And then number five is there are a myriad of other documentations, your business and personal financial statements, your income tax returns, and of course the business plan, which you pointed out that you, as we instructed, that you are taking it with you. So your homework assignment for our next session is to make sure that you've got those 5 areas covered.
Gotcha.
And again, credit history, cash flow history, and business projections, collateral available to secure the loan, character, and the other documentations like the business and personal financial statements, the income tax returns, and a business plan. Okay? You totally nailed it. Totally nailed it. How do you feel about it?
I feel really good. I mean, obviously it's fun to do the fun stuff, but it was cool to actually like do what it would like, or do, okay, for lack of better words, it was great to like actually take it seriously in the sense that this is who I'm going to be talking to if I need money. And obviously they want their money back. So I think it was very helpful to be smart about where that money is going. And I really appreciated Rebecca's question in terms of like, what if you blow it out of the water? What are you going to do? And I'm like, okay, yeah. So I'm glad I thought about that.
So I just want you to be prepared because, you know, I'm looking for a loan officer just to have a conversation with you, even if it's just a mock conversation, looking for somebody who can have that conversation with you.
Yeah.
So don't stop practicing just because we're not practicing your elevator pitch anymore, okay?
Right.
Okay.
Thank you.
Great job. Great job. Last but not least, we have Jacqueline, our 2.0 career mentee. Jacqueline just graduated in May, woohoo, with her BS degree in photojournalism, and she is working on finding a job as a photojournalist with a major news publication, and she's hoping to do news photojournalism. And so Jacqueline's assignment was to come and give her elevator pitch to a photo desk editor at one of the larger media platforms. So Jacqueline, how are you? I am the photo desk editor of the Washington Post. Go.
Hi, my name is Jacqueline Luttrell, and I am a visual storyteller. I have an associate's in multimedia and video and graphic design, as well as a recent graduate of Columbia College Chicago with my BA in photojournalism. Although I am a recent graduate, I have had 6 years experience in photojournalism. I started out in combat sports, photo documenting my son's journey as an MMA fighter. And literally within 4 months, I pitched myself to a fight promotion to shoot their promotion with not even knowing the settings on my camera. I had also enrolled in KVCC at the same time, say January 2014. But from there, photo documenting my son, starting to shoot for a fight promotion in Michigan, has led me to shoot nationally as I progressed in my education, and also progressing in working in creating documentaries and being able to just connect with people to tell the story. My specialty of everything with this is going behind the scenes and getting to the heart of everything, because when I pick up that camera, that is my heart. I connect with people so that you can see and feel what is going on. It's like you're there. And a lot of that comes from my background, from not only being a parent, but also serving my community in education, the arts, and currently within the healthcare community. So I really strive for telling and showing the stories that's at a ground level for what's going on in the heart of our communities. But also on that note, I can take it to another level. I have covered the Iowa caucus, I've covered the South Carolina primary, as well as the Illinois primary that was right on the edge of COVID-19. I have documented what has gone on with the shutdown of Chicago, and recently I have been out covering the protests here in Chicago with George Floyd. So here's the thing, I can show you better than I can tell you. Here is my portfolio for you to also look over, and I am willing to give my heart and soul for this job. This is not a job. Honestly, let me rephrase that. It's a calling. Thank you.
Mic drop.
Right.
It's a calling. It's not a job for me. It's a calling. And I'm darn good at it. Thank you very much. Thank you. Thank you.
Let the church say amen. Pass the collection plate.
Pass the plate. Pass the plate, y'all. That was really, really strong. And I loved how you, well, I always do this. I'm sorry, y'all go ahead first. What did the other photo desk editors have to say?
I think that was, Jacqueline, thank you so much for sharing your story, sharing your passion, and also being a testament to it's never too late. You could have easily counted yourself out, and other people probably would have counted you out just because of your age and also that, but you definitely put your age out there. You were confident and showing me that you better listen to me and I better be considered in the running because, you know, I know, and I've probably done this multiple times too as well, without seeing or having a conversation and looking at so many different resumes and even pictures. It's so hard to tell who's genuine, who's passionate, because it definitely takes an important, and that's a skill. Anybody can really take a picture, but to really see it through the lens and see the story, because the picture sometimes has to stand alone. And you need to be able to tell that story without having the words associated with it. I loved it, and I'm looking forward to connecting with you ASAP. And I love the fact that you are really current in these current events and what's going on, and that you're sensitive to that as well, but then also willing to throw yourself out there in some uncertain times. Let's just be transparent about that and willing to get the story to do that. So I am so excited to definitely further the conversation with you so that we can really have some more conversation and talk about joining our team.
That was our very loquacious photo editor. We are sorry that her feedback ran longer than the elevator speech. Just kidding. But Jacqueline, what do you have to say to that?
Thank you. So when can we set up the second interview? Because I'm not just here for an interview.
Great.
ASAP.
Great.
Okay.
All right. Which of my other photo editors would like to go next?
I just wanted to comment, and I'm a photo editor, and also I think I would really like to hear from you when we get to that point, or maybe after I look at your online portfolio, if you could show me what you know, if I could sort of get your thoughts on why you took this photograph in this way and help me walk through some of the emotions that you were trying to draw out in that particular picture or profile, just to get a sense of how you use your camera to really hone in on that feeling and on that story. I love the way that you explained how you are a multimedia storyteller. I thought that was great. I know that if we ever needed you in other capacities, that you've also got some room to flex with your other graphic design talents. So thank you for sharing your information today.
Thank you.
Thank you, photo editor. And last photo editor, Darsh.
Yeah, I honestly compared to, in looking at your online portfolio and given everything that's happened, I think you have a great eye to capture emotion that not many people do. And I think that comes from the fact that you're willing to put yourself, as Rebecca said, in uncomfortable situations if that means furthering the cause. And I reiterate, furthering the cause and not furthering your photo. And I think that's really important because right, they say a picture can tell 1,000 words. And I think it's really important to capture that emotion, especially in events that are not only partaking now, but also happened. You were in Michigan Ave taking a photo right before everyone ended up going into lockdown for 3 months. Not many people can say that they did that. And I think, that's awesome. And thank you for sharing that with us today.
Thank you.
So Jacqueline, what are your thoughts?
Definitely an improvement from 2 weeks ago. What I did this time, I took back everybody's feedback, which really made sense, which really made me dig deep and just let the story flow as to who I am and what I'm about. It's hard to describe or explain how I can feel a picture before it happens. And a lot of that came from all the years of combat sports where I'm dealing in, 1/1000th of a second. I mean, things happen in a heartbeat and I don't know how, but it's like I could feel it from the fighters and I catch it. There's just no explanation. And the same thing, from like covering the protests or covering the pride.
There is an explanation. It's called talent and it's called passion and it's called natural ability. But go on.
Okay. You're right. You know what? I'm still trying to come to terms with that. Like, this is one of the few times I've ever really said I'm an artist, even though a year after I started this, I've had a solo art show based on my fight pictures to show that these kids don't step in a cage and brawl. They are trained. They are bringing their heart. They are fighting all types of things. And it's poetry in motion. It is not brawling. That's like an insult to what they do. Which, yeah, it's still, I'm still trying to get, you know what? It's like I'm trying to get used to it, like Miley's trying to get used to she's a VP.
Yeah. I think when you start to repeat and have these conversations that we're forcing you to have in front of other people, it pushes you up out of your comfort zone and into your passion. And when you guys speak from your passion point, all of you, it resonates with the people who are on the receiving end of that. And so you're telling a story while you're also telling me how you're going to add value to my business or add value to my company. That's important. And so speaking from those passion points and adding in the metrics is very, very, very important. So your pink elephant goal, as we said earlier, was or is to get a job as a photojournalist with a major brand by September of this year. And so what I want to offer as one of Cheryl's Pink Couch tips is to always, always have a plan B. Always have a backup plan, you guys. And so I did a little bit of research for you. I sent you a couple of links, but there are 5 other places that photojournalists could be hired other than what you're looking at from a news paper, right? So magazines is one of them. Mm-hmm. Marketing and advertising agencies is number 2. Number 3 is television. Consider being a video photojournalist with, a video camera, going out and capturing all of this on video. Number 4 is doing product photography. Number 5 is social media. There are a lot of companies and brands that are looking for ways to show their stories using social media. And then while you're waiting for one of those to like really, fall into your lap, freelance work. Don't rule out freelancing. And there are several freelance platforms that you should start looking into applying while you're looking at getting your job. Upwork is one of them. Fiverr, Thumbtack, Guru, People Per Hour, and Flex Jobs. So, and I'll send these to you, and I'll also post them on the screen. But those are opportunities for you to also get work as a freelancer while you're waiting to land that job. So we're not going to spend, June and July and August waiting for the job. We're also going to be doing some freelance work. That's really important as well. Does that make sense?
Oh yeah, that's something that I've been doing for 6 years.
Okay, so these are other outlets that, I don't know, have you tapped into any of those outlets?
I have checked into Fiverr before, and I do also currently freelance for the Nature Conservancy.
Great.
Here in Chicago. So I have worked on spreading my wings here, like I have in Michigan, because I still also go back to Michigan. Well, not that we're in COVID-19.
Right.
Because we're shut down, but I've still have gone back and forth to Michigan doing work. And I also have somebody looking at me coming to St. Louis to shoot a fight when things open back up. So
there you go. So take advantage of those freelance opportunities, Jacqueline, because a picture is worth 1,000 words, and it doesn't necessarily have to be, this is where you want to go, but the freelance work, if you're able to share those stories, via photos, they're going to be ready to see your fabulosity just by looking at those photos. So ladies, we're running a little bit over. I want to say thank you to each of you for literally putting your hard-earned time. And I can tell when you guys have spent time doing something and when you haven't, first of all. And so I want to make sure that, Jacqueline, your homework assignment for next week is coming back with at least 5 places that you are considering and have made any inroads to on the list that I just provided for you. So it's not enough to just say, I know I can freelance. I want to know that you've gotten yourself up on any of these freelance platforms.
Okay.
And that you position yourself for that. So that's your homework assignment, okay?
Okay, thank you.
Everybody clear on your homework for next week?
Yeah.
All right. Okay. Thank you, ladies, very much. Please stay safe during these very troubling times, and God be with this country. God be with all of you. And we will talk again in 2 weeks on the 4th Sunday of June. I don't know what that date is off the top of my head, but look it up, put it on your calendar, the 4th Sunday of June, okay?
All right, thank you.
All right.
Bye, guys.
Bye. Have a good one.
Bye.
See you guys later.
Bye.
Check out the full Live from the Pink Couch web series and keep up with all 5 mentees' progress on powerfulpenny.com. This has been a Powerful Penny LLC Pink Elephant production.